Okay. Yay, we're recording now. Sorry, guys. I had been talking for a few minutes, but for those of you watching the replay, hello. All right. So let's talk about these events that are coming up in Michigan on Monday and Tuesday. Aspen Emery, our CEO, is coming to town, which is a huge deal. Huge, 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 that she is here helping us build and helping us launch this market in Michigan. And so right away, when we know that, when we hear that, we need to be like, oh my gosh, we have to pack the house. Nikki's like dancing. We need to prioritize this. Like, oh my gosh, Nikki, if you want to like pull up what you wrote in the chat and read that in a second, that would be hilarious and funny and perfect. Because when you said that, I was like, yes. And when Aspen read that, she was like, she gets it. She gets it. So, okay, here's the thing. You can't control how many people you actually come to the event, right? If you invite 10 people and all 10 of them have something come up last minute, you can't control that, right? But what you can control is how many people you actually invite, right? So you can control that part of it. And don't forget about your team members. Don't just think because we posted it in Ignite or we're posting it in a group chat that they know about it. That is one of the biggest mistakes that anybody can make in this business, is getting other people in and not having personal communication with your people. If you guys don't already have maybe like a list on your phone of all your personally enrolled, you should, okay? That way you're not forgetting anybody. That way when things like this happen, you're personally reaching out to them and saying, hey, Nikki, I'm so flippin' excited. Did you know or did you hear that our CEO is coming to town on Monday or Tuesday? Do either of those days or both of those days work for you to start inviting to it, to come to training? You're specifically asking them. And then there's a little bit of that accountability, right? If it's in a group text, it's not me asking every single one of you, are you guys showing up? Are you coming? It's the accountability between person and person. So don't forget about your team members and getting them there and personally inviting them. Don't just rely on Facebook pages and chats, you guys. So like I said, this is a huge, huge deal. Nikki, do you have that like message pulled up?
Yeah, it's probably going to turn my video off because I'm on my phone. So let me see here. Okay. And I'll be honest, you guys, when I sent this, I had a little bit of liquid courage, if I'm being honest, because I don't always, sometimes it takes me a little bit to be like my full, true self. But we had gone out with some friends for dinner and I was super excited about just thinking about everything that's coming up and the fact that our CEO is coming here to invest in us. Like, it's huge to me and I couldn't get it off my mind. And I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to understand how big this is. So I sent a message we've got, it's to the Grand Rapids Ignite team. So basically anybody that's local, we have a different chat for them just to tell them about local things going on. And I just said, you guys, I just want to take a second to say, this is amazing. We need to pack the house. This is not something that happens often, if ever. Our CEO is coming to help us, to build us, to grow with us. I know most of you understand how amazing this opportunity is, but for those that it hasn't hit, quote unquote, hit yet, cancel your plans, call in sick if you need to, find a babysitter. You need to be there. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to grow your business. Don't let it pass you by. That's all. So, I mean, I think that a lot of people do get it, but I think there's also a lot of people that don't understand, One thing I was really amazed about with Emrys is the variety that we have. So we've got a lot of people that have been in other network marketing companies, but then we also have lots that this is their very first venture. Mm-hmm. And I think because we've been so close to be able to reach out and touch, our founding circle members and our CEOs, I just don't want people to take advantage of this. This is a really amazing opportunity that most people don't get within their companies. If you ever have met a CEO, then it's generally at a convention or a conference. It's not in your own backyard. So I just really want people to understand it and invest in it and invest in themselves. I mean, Aspen's not coming here to grow her company. She's coming here to grow us as leaders. So it's important and it's special. And I just wanted to make sure everybody understood.
Absolutely. And you guys, we have the opportunity right now because the company is still so small. We're still such a small group. In a month, she's going to be moving to Tampa, and they're really going to start ramping this up because we're going to be in launch. And we might not get this opportunity. Yes, they're still going to travel to help us, but eventually we're going to be the ones that are hitting certain ranks in the company, and it's going to be our teams that we're traveling to. And we might get the privilege of having them come to an event in our area once every 6 months, once a year, things like that. But they're going to be running this company, and it's going to be on us because we're going to be the leaders that are promoting going vice president, going director, which is super exciting. But we have a special opportunity right now, like Nikki said, to be able to sit in a living room with her, to pick her brain for a one-on-one, to have her specifically talk to our guests. And so the other thing I wanted to tell you guys right now is a lot of you have team members, a lot of you have signed people up, and they haven't done anything yet, right? Like they've gotten in, they got their spot, they either got in for free or some of them paid $4.99, but they haven't even gotten in front of this yet. They are just as important to get to the event than your prospect. Why? Because they're already in, they need to be activated now. Right? They're in, but they have no idea what they have their hands on because maybe they just said yes to you because they trust you. I was talking to Nikki yesterday, and she has a girl, that same situation. She got in because she trusted Nikki, right? But she hasn't even gotten in front of it. She has no idea what she has her hands on. I have some of those. Our team is filled with those people that have said yes to an opportunity. Maybe they got on a Zoom, maybe they heard a recording, but chances are they still don't know or grasp what we have our hands on. And so treat them just like a prospect. Treat them like they're gold. Like prioritize having those personal conversations with them and getting them to Monday and Tuesday. Monday's training, Tuesday is the event, because they need to know. So once Aspen leaves, yeah, they might not have a prospect come with them. But once Aspen leaves and they get in front of these events, they're going to be on fire. They're going to have that momentum and that excitement that we all have. So they are just as important. And I think sometimes people look at a business like this, like they spent $4.99 to get in, and they're like, okay, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I spent my $4.99. I'm a founding partner. And they're like waiting, right? They're just like waiting for them to get rich, or like waiting for something to happen. And Mike and I watched it in our last company. We signed up 2 guys that just went crazy. They signed up like 30 people in 30 days. Okay. And they were like, when's the money coming? We're like, well, you just got in for free, so to speak. There's no volume in that. There's no product in that. You're not going to, that's illegal if you were to make money by just signing people up. They didn't understand that this was more than just an opportunity to say yes to. Right? There's action that comes with it. There's a whole business side of this. And so Matthew talks a lot about the T in timing can beat the T in talent any day of the week, meaning if you see an opportunity and say yes to it and jump in with the right timing, you can have success over somebody that is full of talent and jumps into the wrong thing, but there will be no success without any action. Action is the key for timing. And so if you have people that are in the system right now that have taken no action, they are just as important as a prospect. You have to hold their hand until they can walk. They might not see what we see, and it's our job to help bring them, to pull them along, to pull them up, so to speak, and get them in front of this so they can see. So, okay, anything you wanted to add to that, Nikki?
No, pretty much just the same things. I think, and sometimes we are assuming, I guess I would just add this, we're assuming that they're getting on the group chats and the Facebook page and that they're seeing everything that we're posting. So just, really, with urgency, not tomorrow, not Monday, not Tuesday, reach out to them, but reach out today and just make sure they understand which opportunities we have, where they are, when they are, just that personal contact. Just don't just assume that everybody's seeing everything we're posting, because a lot of times those people aren't diving in quite yet. So they may not be seeing what we think they are.
Good point. Have urgency. Talk to them today. Don't wait. Okay. So how do we talk to people? So some of these tips are things that Matthew kind of talked through and talked about when we were in Nebraska. And so I just kind of want to share some of them with you guys a little bit because he's really good at leveraging this business. Both him and Aspen are phenomenal at like how to talk to people. And it's just every time I'm around them, I just soak up so much. Some of the few tidbits that Matthew talked about was be quick, show value, and take it away. So what he means by that is you're not sending a paragraph of information. You're not sending 3 paragraphs of information. You're sending a sentence or 2 if it's a message. Or if you're on the phone, you're talking like quickly. You're showing value. You're giving them something by saying, this is a ground floor opportunity. I'm opening a company. I'm launching a company. You can get in on this, right? Those are the things that are showing value. And then by taking it away, it's saying, it's okay if you're not interested in this. You know what? You might not be an early adopter. That's okay. You might not be interested in this. This might not be something that'd be a good fit for you. So that way you're taking it away. You're taking the pressure off of the ask, you're taking the pressure off of yourself. You're also taking the pressure off of, I don't need you. It's leverage, you guys. It's posture. We're going to the top. We made a decision. My flag is planted. I'm doing this without anybody. I'm doing this without any of you guys, right? Like if all of you told me today, I'm done, I'm okay. I'm doing this with or without you. I know where I'm going. My vision is strong, right? So when you have that posture and you have that leverage, people are like, oh, okay, she doesn't need me. So do I want this, right? So have that posture, have that leverage when you're talking to people. Tell them the goal of what you're looking for, and tell them that this might not be a fit for them, and that's okay. Okay, so I heard Matthew say that the goal is to find somebody who has a desire to want more in life, who has a desire for more in their life. And when they have a desire, they find value in what we have our hands on. And when they find value in that, they find a way. They find a way to make it happen. They find a way to come up with the $4.99 because they see value in being a founding partner, even if they have to go sell something, right? Because they have a desire to want more in life. And so they will move mountains to make it happen. And so our job, you guys, isn't to convince anybody to join. It's not to convince anybody to come to Tuesday. Your job is to just invite them there. And if you haven't heard this analogy yet, I'm going to say it again because it's genius. It's the whole movie versus a trailer. So if you want to go see a movie, I'm just going to say Captain Marvel because it was the last movie that I saw. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, let's have a girls' night. Let's go see Captain Marvel. Women, yeah, blah, yay, woohoo. Do you want to come with me? And you're like, well, what's it about? And I'm like, well, let me tell you. And for an hour, I tell you my favorite scenes in the movie and the funniest scenes and the ones that made me cry and all about the movie. And an hour later, you're like, sweet Ash, well, you just told me all about the movie, so I think I'm good, right? Where if I'm like, hey, let's go see this movie. It was super, super good. And you're like, what's it about? Hey, I'm going to send you a trailer. And then you watch the trailer and you're like, oh, yeah, I want to go to the movie. Okay. Matthew talked about how we're the trailer. We're not the movie. Meaning we're not the person when we're inviting somebody to tell them every little detail about Emrys. That's the movie's job. The movie, we are the trailer trying to get them to the movie. Right now, the movie is Tuesday. It's Aspen. It's the Discover Emrys event that Aspen is going to get to. So you're just wanting to pique their interest, right? You're just wanting to say enough to get them there. You're not trying to give them all the details. Now, they might ask questions. That's okay. You can answer some of their questions, but what I'm talking about is that very first initial message. You're not trying to tell them about CBD and convince them that CBD works and tell them about ashwagandha and tell them the backstory of Matthew and Aspen and Eileen. No, you're just quickly trying to pique their interest. Like I said, they might have a few questions. You can answer them, but your biggest job is to get them to the movie, get them to Tuesday. Okay, so how do we invite to this? You can either call, you can voice audio people. I think that those two things are the very best. If you are going to send a text message, I would send a voice audio so people hear the excitement in your voice. There is nothing that is going to beat that. That right there is the key. It's your ticket to people understanding what we have our hands on. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when you receive a text message or a Facebook message, you're just seeing, the other person is just seeing words. They could take it in any tone of voice. They could even read that as spam. But if you are voice audioing them or picking up the phone and calling them and asking them to come with you, they're going to hear your excitement, that you're passionate about something, that this is a big freaking deal, right? They might not pick up on how big of a deal this is in a simple text message or a Facebook message. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to do. I do it, but I'm just saying that a voice audio message from you or a phone call is just going to go over better than a text message, because that excitement right there. So for me, I'm asking a question. I'm going to give you guys a few examples, but you always want to ask a question at the very end of a message so they have something to reply to. If you just leave it open-ended, they could be like, oh, I'm going to think about it. You know, you want to ask a question so they have something to respond to. And then if you guys are getting people to come, you want to follow up with them the day of the event, maybe even the day before, of saying something like on Monday, like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Like, this is going to blow your mind. Okay. And then the day of the event, maybe at noon or 1, maybe on their lunch hour, say, oh my, I seriously, like, I'm so excited you're coming tonight. Like, if you want to bring anybody, you know, go for it. I can't wait to see you. You're still coming, right? And like ask them that question to make sure that there's that accountability there between you and your guests. So, okay, couple examples, and I can kind of put these in the chat if you want. I'm going to give you some of these examples. You can write them down. You guys, this is just a guide. Okay, you don't have to use this word for word. I would actually suggest you not using this word for word. I would suggest you taking this, changing a few things, you know, whatever fits your personality, and sending it as this like guide. Okay. And then I want to open it up for you guys. If you have specific people that you're wanting to talk to and maybe you don't know how to, we can kind of do that. So for me, like I said, I wouldn't be sending these as a text. I would be picking up the phone and sending a voice audio and saying like, hey, Nikki, I have a quick question for you. So I'm not sure if you've seen yet or not, but I'm actually expanding a brand new company. I'm not sure if you keep your options open. What do you think? Okay. If she's like, well, yeah, of course I keep my options open. Perfect. Hey, I have an event that I'm going to on Tuesday night with the CEO of my company. Are you free? I'd love for you to come take a look. All right. So it's just something super quick, super simple. You guys can kind of hear the excitement in my voice instead of going, hey, Nikki, question for you. I am expanding my company. Do you keep your options open? Right? Like that's a little bit more like spammy. If you were to just see that like in a text, it might be like, is this really Ashley? You know? But if they're hearing my voice in a voice audio, they can hear that. Okay. So Nikki,
one thing, yeah, I was going to add one thing.
sure.
Some of the words I guess that I've used, sorry, I got a phone call.
Oh.
One of the things that I have said, whether it's to somebody that's already seen the Discover Emerus video or already been to one of my events or somebody brand new, one thing I've been saying that has worked for me is I've said to them, I have a spot. I don't say one, but I say I have a spot to bring a guest, and I'd love for you to be that guest. So I'm sort of trying to make it sound like I just have one spot, like like it's a key spot that they want to get into. So there's a little bit of urgency and there's a little bit of like dedication to it. And I've had pretty good success with that so far. The people that have responded and said they're coming, they're still continuing to talk to me about it. So, I mean, is there a chance that they're not going to show up? Sure. All I can do is invite them, and I realize that, and I won't take it personal. But I think it's important to kind of create that sense of urgency, even with people that are not in this yet. They need to understand how special and how cool this is too.
Perfect. I just put that in the chat too, you guys. I would just type that up. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple more examples, but Nikki, if you would maybe, when I'm done with this, like pull up maybe one of those conversations that you've had with a guest that's coming that said like yes, so people can kind of see like the back and forth of like how the conversation went. Would you feel like you could do that? Oh, you're muted. Okay, I think she's going to find it. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple other examples, and after I say it, I'll throw it in the chat for you. But okay, I'm going to pick up my phone because, again, you guys, I am voice audioing these. But like, okay, hey, Chelsea, I'm not sure if you've seen or heard yet, but I'm actually helping launch a global company. This thing is growing like crazy. Oh my gosh, you need to check this out. Listen, here's the thing. Like, I'm going to do this with or without you, so no pressure at all. I'm not even sure if this would be a good fit for you, but if you're free Tuesday, the CEO of my company is actually coming to town, and I would love for you to at least take a look. What do you think? Okay. So that really is kind of more like me. That's kind of my message, the one that I'm using a majority of the time. Some frame of that, you guys, I don't even have it written down. I just kind of stick to that of like, hey, I'm not sure if you've seen or heard yet. Why am I saying that? Because they're going to go stalk my social media. They're going to go look and they're going to see that this is a real thing because I have been putting it out there. I'm not specifically talking about it. I'm leaving a little bit of air to like think about it, but that's what happens. People are curious. They're like, what do you mean? How would I have seen or heard about this? So not sure if you've seen or heard what I'm doing, but I'm launching a global company. So I'm telling them, I'm giving them value. I'm telling them a little bit about it. It's growing like crazy. It's a flipping rocket ship. We're going to the top, something along those lines. You need to take a look at this. I'm not saying, oh, I'd love for you to come. Like, oh my gosh. I'm saying, no, you need to take a look at this. It's growing like crazy. And then the take it away part is the whole, you know what, I'm doing this with or without you, girl, like no pressure at all. I'm not even sure if this would be a good fit for you, but I at least wanted to tell you about it. Okay, so that's the take it away part. And then you're inviting them, asking a question. And it's, hey, are you free on Tuesday? I'd love for you to at least take a look at this. Okay, so that right there is kind of the components of a good message, of the first good initial message to send to somebody. Not sure if you've seen about this. Tell them what you're doing. It's growing like crazy. Show some vision. Take it away, and then ask a question. So I will put that in the chat, and then I have one more for you. And then I'll have Nikki kind of share hers, and then we can open this up to you guys. Okay, so the last one is just something super simple. This would be more like a two-part question, okay? So maybe you're like, hey, Sheila, what are you up to on Tuesday evening? Okay, let them respond. Oh, I don't know why. What's up? Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm helping launch a global company. It's kind of crazy, but hey, you need to come hear about this. It may or may not be a fit for you. That's okay. You may not find it as exciting as I do. That's okay. But are you free Tuesday? I'd love for you to come take a look. Are you free? Okay, something along those lines where maybe you ask them, hey, what are you up to on Tuesday? Because if they're like, oh, hey, I have volleyball or whatever, then you already know that they can't come on Tuesday. So, okay, I think Nikki is ready to show us her conversation. I'm going to unmute you so you can talk.
Okay. Sorry, I can't figure out how to unmute myself from here. So this, can you guys see this or not?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a quick conversation. This is, I pretty much copy and pasted most of this. I edited a little bit, but just says, hey, I know it's been a while since we chatted about this new business opportunity. I was able to get my sample products last week, and they're absolutely amazing. If you're keeping your income option open, I'd love to chat. Our CEO is actually coming to Michigan next week, and I would love to have you join me Tuesday night as a guest. Let me know if you have any interest and maybe know maybe know someone who could use an amazing opportunity in their life. And so this particular person just said, sounds awesome. Let me know what time and whatnot. So I sent her the, our little image invitation. And then after that, she responded and just said, great, what time should I be there? So that one was quick and easy. And some of them, I mean, it's hard to screenshot everything because I'd have 10 different ones because a lot of times they're answering more back, but that was generally, my general way of what I said. And then this one, I guess this is kind of jumping ship just a little bit, so I don't have to share this one, but this is actually when I reached out to somebody that's kind of on my chicken list or my dream list, and what I said to her. So I just screenshotted that quick because I was in my chats.
Right. Let's see. Okay, to be honest, I'm not the person who likes to reach out to people. Oh. Okay, I do not like spammers, I promise.
Do you want me to go over that, Ash, or no?
If you want, I'm reading it right now, so I'm sure most people are too.
Oh, you are? Okay, sorry.
I know you're super successful. That's perfect. Yeah, I love that. Love that.
So basically, it's somebody that was in 31 with me. I clearly do know that she has scaled down on quite a significant level, which is why I decided I was going to reach out to her, because generally speaking, I mean, I don't want to take somebody away from another opportunity. And the same goes with inviting them to this event, right? So that's never my goal, is never to take somebody away from something that they're successful at. But I also feel it's important to put the opportunity out there. But I don't want her to feel like I'm spammy, because I am one of those people that, you know, I say to them,
personal invite.
Right. I say to them, hey, if you have interest, contact me. I don't want to be that spammy person that's contacting a million people and hoping that they're interested. So, and she responded, and she said, bear with me. I am in the process of moving. She said, we sold our house, and then we realized we only, once we figured out the closing date, we only had 12 days to move. So she's like, I'm crazy busy, but I really appreciate you reaching out. Love you, miss you. It was so much fun, because actually the trip I was talking about was our incentive trip that we had earned through 31. We went on 3 incentive trips together. And so that was kind of a segue into it too, like, hey, we could do this together again. Anyway, and it was, it went over really, really well for me. She's going to watch the video. So while I was in my messenger, I figured I'd screenshot that for you guys to see.
Perfect. Thank you. That was awesome. Awesome. Okay, I have one more that I can throw in the chat for you guys. And I did take a screenshot of Nikki's that first one, and we can type that up because I love that too. I think that's a really good first message to send to people, or not first message, but follow-up message. If you've already been talking to people about this business and they haven't said yes yet, I didn't even think of that we should be addressing that. So I'm really glad that you shared that, because there are lots of people that you guys have at least talked to that haven't said yes yet. And so this is that perfect way to kind of seal the deal and close them, of just saying, hey, I know that that we've talked about Emrys, but our CEO is actually coming to town. If you want to take a look at this and hear it from the horse's mouth herself, you need to come with me on Tuesday. If you are at least any interested in this at all, you need to come on Tuesday and get your questions answered. Don't say no till you know what you're saying no to, So that's another thing of following up with people. So the last one that I have, which is a first initial message, is just hey, I have a question for you. Do you have any interest in learning about a ground floor company? Okay. That's still in pre-launch. And to be honest, you could just send that and wait for them to answer. But this next part it's an incredible opportunity to make a second stream of income. Let me know. That one is kind of more for those people that you don't know really, really well. To me, that's a really good acquaintance message, something that maybe you wouldn't send to your best friend or your sister, but maybe your sister's friends, right? But you're they would be awesome, but you don't know them very well. It's more just hey, I have a really random question for you. I'm not sure if you've seen what I've been up to, but I'm actually helping launch a global company. Do you have any interest in hearing about it? It's a really great way to make a second stream of income. I think when I say that, people are well, I'm always open to hearing about other opportunities. That's kind of where I the messages, the responses that I'm getting back from that is, well, yeah, I'm open. What is it? And so it's the ability to then ask if they want to come. So I'm going to throw that in the chat as well. Okay, Sheila, you said most of my team is not local. Will there be a live? So the actual presentation we probably won't go live with, because to me, honestly, there's probably not a whole ton of prospects that would sit there on a Zoom when they barely can't hear because it's further away. When we have the Discover Emrys link that we can send to people, that 30-minute video. But I think what we'll do is the training that Aspen does on Tuesday, we will probably go live in our team.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can always go live too, Ashley, on both days. That's fine.
Okay. And what we can do is I have a stand that you can put your phone in. So you don't have to sit there and hold it the whole time, because that's what we did in Nebraska. And Mike's hand is shaking towards the end. So I'll bring a stand and we can go live in our team page. And then if you save that video to your phone, then we can upload it to YouTube and then text it out to people or whatever. So, okay. Does anybody have, good morning, Kelly. Hi. Just saw you hop on. Does anybody have specific examples or maybe a question? Maybe there's somebody on your list that you are super scared to reach out to, or maybe you've reached out to them, or maybe you haven't gotten responses from them, or you've talked to them before and they haven't came to anything. Like, are there any examples? That's what you guys, like right now, my hope is you're starting to send out some of these messages, or you're coming up with a list as soon as we get off the Zoom to send out messages. But I'll be honest with you, the ones right now that are willing to speak up and unmute and say, hey, this is a person that I want to talk to and I'm not sure exactly how to do this, you're going to get the most out of this because you're taking that action that we talked about from the very beginning.
I want to throw it out there for you guys too, just so everybody understands. Like, I know we say all the time, you're going to get a lot of no's before you get yeses. And it's the same deal with coming to this event. I want you guys to know, I reached out personally to, I believe, around 25 people to try and invite them on Tuesday night. And I have 5 that actually responded and said, yep, I can, and again, whether they show up or not, there's nothing I can do about that. But I know that I've invited them. So my goal is to reach out to 25 more today. My goal initially was 50. So that's my goal, and we'll see where it takes me, but don't feel bad if they ignore you, if they don't respond, if they just respond and say no. I mean, don't feel bad. Don't take it personal. You're offering this to them because you think they would be amazing at this. Take yourself out of the equation. You're offering this to them because you think this could better their lives. Take yourself out of the equation. It's okay for them to say no. Don't feel bad. You've got to realize, just don't take it personal, because it's not about them saying no to you. It's about them saying no to this opportunity, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. If they're that quick to say no to this opportunity, they're probably not somebody you want to link arms with and run anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, like, I see Tamara's on here too. She's a founding circle member that's in Lincoln, Nebraska, because she's got a couple people that are potentially going to be plugging into this event. And one thing Tamara taught me, from the very beginning when we first started this, is ask for referrals. You guys, those people that are saying no to you, or like if they're like, you know what, I don't know if I'm really interested in that, like, that's okay. That's totally fine. Like, I'm looking for people that are early adopters that can see something before the masses. Like, do you know anybody like that? Ask for that referral, because guess what? Their sister, this might be the thing that she's looking for. And you wouldn't know her sister, you wouldn't know her best friend, or you wouldn't know her colleague at work without making that ask. And so go that next step when you guys are getting a no, and ask for a referral. Ask for somebody, well, do you know anybody that would be interested in something like this? And Tamara and I did a Zoom that's on my YouTube channel about how to then go about asking for a referral, or how to then make that referral call. So if you guys want to watch that for follow-up, but don't just let that sit there. And remember your no's, write those down, because those are people you can circle back around to and ask to be a VIP customer in May. And guess what? Maybe once they get on the product, they're going to see the value in it and they're going to want to make money from it and join you then. So don't just write them off, ask for a referral, write their name down, and circle back around in May. So does anybody want to unmute and maybe talk through one of their people or get help on inviting somebody to Tuesday?
Hey.
Hey, Callie.
Hey. I really don't. I'm sorry, just one second. Yes. My son just ran in the room.
Okay, we'll give her a second to unmute. But so you guys, in my last company, like we talked about from the very beginning, like this was something that I took a ton of time to do, is get help with messaging. And we used to do contacting Zooms where it's all we did is literally we went through like every single person on here. Okay, Chelsea, your turn. And Chelsea would unmute and be like, okay, well, I've got this girl and da-da-da-da-da. And we would then come up with a message to help her. And then guess what? Because Chelsea spoke up and said something, then Sheila's like, ooh, I have a girl that's just like that. I should send that message. And then I go over to Sheila. Okay, Sheila, unmute. Who's somebody on your list that you want to talk to? And she's like, oh, there's this girl that I work with, blah, 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 blah. And it's called a contacting Zoom, and you get so much out of it. These also can be done in person as well. But I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of courage right now this is your time to like have us help you invite to this. If you want this business to work for you, you've got to take that action. So, okay, Callie.
Okay. So I honestly, I probably won't invite anybody to next week just because I really don't know anybody here because we just moved here not even a year and a half ago. So I feel like that's the problem that I'm having because everybody that I'm reaching out to, they don't live here.
Mm.
And some people are in Florida, some people are in Illinois. And a lot of them, at least half, have been genuinely interested, I feel. But I feel like I'm having a hard time because they're not here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know even for me, it was kind of out of my comfort zone to even go to that first meeting, but I am ready and I really want to do something different and something for myself that I can really kind of be proud of, you know? And so I'm totally ready for this and I'm trying to find other people like that, but I feel like it's hard for me to share that excitement that I get when I come to meetings and that kind of stuff and hear you guys talk because like I'm new to this and I don't have that experience in that. So I don't know if it's my delivery. I'm not really sure what it is.
Okay, so a couple of things. So if you have people in Illinois and Florida, first of all, like I would be curious where, because if they're in Illinois, like I'll go drive there. Let's do a meeting. Like let's have somebody host it for us. I have a girl that's 3 hours away that I'm going to be driving over to help her launch her business. So if you have somebody that would at least open up their house in Illinois, like you and I can get in the car and drive over there. And even if it's 3 people, like that's okay. Florida, if they're anywhere near like Tampa, Miami, like specific areas in Florida, we have growing teams that are there that they can plug into like those events. So for anybody, you guys that you know that live out of state, out of area, that's where you're going to utilize phone calls, like 3-way calls with me, the Zooms, the live Zooms, and the recorded Zoom. So Callie, for you, for those people right now that are in Florida, it's the same thing. I don't know if you were on when you heard me talk about the difference between a movie and a trailer. Like, I don't know if you heard that. Okay. But right now your job is to not be the movie. Okay. Meaning, when you're talking to people, you don't need to tell them absolutely everything about it. You need to send them a trailer so that they watch the movie. So what I mean by that is, hey, I just started with this company. I'm super excited about what it's going to do for me and my family. And when I thought of people that I wanted to work with, like I immediately thought of you. Like, are you interested in keeping your options open for income? And if they're like, yeah, absolutely. What's it about? Okay, perfect. Hey, I'm going to send you this link to my website. It's a 20-minute video. Go ahead and watch it. Let me know when you're done and I can answer your questions. Okay. Or saying, hey, are you free this afternoon? I'm going to have my friend Ashley. She's who I've partnered with. I'm going to have her. We're going to 3-way call you and she's going to tell you absolutely everything that we're doing. Okay. Or, hey, there is a live opportunity event tonight where you can get on and ask questions. Here's the link. Okay. So you're just inviting people to take a look at Emrys, even if they don't live in Grand Rapids. Obviously the people that live in Grand Rapids, like there's power in proximity. Like it's what you feel when you come to these events because you get that energy. Like I'd love for you to get like a local team, but right now, if your people don't live here, there's nothing that you can do about that. But there is action that you can still take to get them in front of this business. It's getting them on the phone with me or doing a Zoom. Yesterday, I Zoomed in for 2 people that live out of state. That it would be like you, me, and one of your girlfriends or one of your friends that Zoom, and I go through the slides with them so they can get in front of it. So let's just maybe you and I kind of connect on when let's get some of those booked for you so we can get your people in front of this. And then if there's like a specific message. So here's the thing, like Aspen kind of talked about like the 5 like payoff activities that you need to do for your business. And I'm not going to go completely into this because it's on our team page. Let me find it real quick okay. So high payoff activities that you guys need to do for your business every day is 1, expand your circle, grow your network, add people to your names. 2, reach out to them, invite them to a Discover Emrys event. 3, have meaningful conversations, meaning they're listening to the business overview. 4, follow up with them and get them in. And 5 is teach them this thing. So what Aspen talked about is if you're like sitting here going, oh, nobody's joining my business. And I ask you, well, how many people have you talked to? And your answer, and I'm telling this to everybody, not just Callie right now. And if your answer is like, well, I've talked to 4 people. Okay, well, you're stuck at number 1. We need to grow your network. We need to add more people to your names list. If you say to me, well, I've reached out to 75 people and nobody said yes, you're stuck at number 2. Maybe we need to tweak what you're saying. We need to change the verbiage a little bit so that people get to a Discover Emrys event, all right? Then maybe if you're like, oh my gosh, I've gotten 14 people in front of them of this, but nobody signed up, all right, you're stuck at number 4. You need help following up with those people and making the seal the deal or whatever. So you guys, this business is something that's very like, if you're getting stuck at something, or if you're not having success, or if you're not like getting where you want to be, like I said, there's an art and a science. Maybe you're just not talking to the right people, but we can kind of analyze what that is by asking questions with you guys individually and saying, okay, this is where you're getting stuck and this is where we need to tweak. But Callie too, I would also challenge you, like, since you said you have been here for a year and a half, like you do know some people that live here, right? So yeah. There are a few people, and what you're doing probably right now is you're making a decision in your head of going, they probably wouldn't be interested in this, okay? So you're prejudging their decision. You're going, I don't know if they'd be interested, or you're maybe like, I don't really know if I want to work with them, or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Just make the ask. Just ask them, because you know what? They might be sitting there making all the money in the world but drowning in debt and are literally looking for something like this. Nikki talked about on Tuesday at her house, where a lot of times we don't like to reach out to people that are in like a higher class of living than us because we think they have all the money in the world or whatever. But sometimes those are the people that jump at opportunities like this. So I'd really challenge you just to write down everybody that you can possibly think of that lives here in like the Grand Rapids area. And here's the thing, you guys, if they live 3 hours away, invite them. If you have teams that live 3 hours away, invite them. We have people that are driving in like 6 hours to come see Aspen here, 7 hours in Michigan, because it's the closest thing that she's coming to, and they're taking off work and making it happen. So if you have team member that live like in the surrounding areas, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, like don't let them make that excuse. Like still get them here. We don't know the next time Aspen will be here. But Kelly, I would just free form write a little bit of like who you can think about that does live here in Michigan. And let's just make the ask. And if you need to text me later and be like, okay, so I wrote down 5 people that live here in Michigan. Like, what do I say to them? Like, text me and I'll help you. Okay.
Okay. I'd love to maybe show you some of the conversations that I've had with people too, just so you can say, well, maybe you could have inserted this comment or not said this or something, you know?
Yes. Send me those screenshots for sure. 100%. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, anybody else have somebody that they need help with?
Morning, Ash.
Good morning, Kelsey.
Hey, so I have this gal, and I think as I'm thinking through it, I think I'm just kind of chickening out or something. I'm not sure. So initially, she was interested, and I invited her to watch the longer of the videos, the opportunity videos. And she kind of responded in a sassy kind of way, like, oh, it was too long. You should have just given me the bullet points, blah, blah, blah. So I've been kind of nervous to reach back out to her again, just because, I don't know, apparently I took that more personally than I thought I did. But she's bold and she's outgoing. And I think that if she were to give this an opportunity or give this a chance, I think she would totally kill it. Right. I guess I'm just not sure how to reapproach her to invite her to Tuesday.
For sure. So now that we do have that 30-minute video, you guys, like, send that. And also, like, I know that Aspen's going to be making an even shorter one, and I might just make one this week going through it that's like 12 minutes, quickly going through the slides that you guys can send to people. It is quicker because people are living busy lives. And sometimes, like Nikki said, man, if they're not going to, take time to watch a 30-minute video, how do we know we want to work with them? But at the same time, you guys, like, I don't know if somebody were to send me a 30-minute video, if I would take time to watch it. Why? Because you don't know what you're saying no to, right? You have no idea the value of this business. We do. So we're like, oh my gosh, of course you need to watch this, right? So absolutely, don't take it personally. She's probably just like, holy cow, that was long, and I don't have time for that, right? She's a busy person. That's okay. That's not you. That's her. So what I would do, Chelsea, is say exactly what you just said to me. Say to her, so I would text her back and be like, hey, I know you thought the video was too long. You know what? That's okay. No big deal. But here's the thing. You would freaking kill it in this. Your personality is amazing. I am looking for people like you. If there's any interest at all that you have in making an extra income, like, are you still open to at least taking a look at this? You know, and kind of just ask her that. And if she's like, yeah, well, I do want, because she did say she wanted the bullet points, right? So if she is like, yeah, I definitely do want to still hear about this. Okay. Well, okay, here's the deal. The CEO of our company is actually coming on Tuesday. Like, there's no better person to hear it from. Like, you can come, get all your questions answered. And then if she's like, I don't know if I want to do that, get her on the phone with me and Nikki, or schedule, I don't know if she lives in the Grand Rapids area, but schedule a one-on-one. Nikki or I could come with you, meet with her, and just go through it with her.
And that's what I was just going to say too, Chelsea, is you'd be really surprised, and I've had these people too. So they don't have time to watch, whether it's the 30-minute video or maybe she was trying to get on the hour-long video, right? They don't have time to do that, but it's amazing how they can make time for a one-on-one. They can make time for coffee. They can make time for Panera. They can make time for margaritas, you know? So I would say offer it in a different way. It's probably not that she doesn't want the information. It's that she doesn't want the information in the way that it's been given to her, which is okay. I mean, like Ash said, like, we're guilty of that too sometimes. When you don't know what you're saying no to, it's easy to say no. So just try to make sure she fully understands why you're offering it to her, and why you think she'd be amazing at it, and then kind of try to take it the step further. I mean, you know her better than anybody, so what do you think she would say yes to?
Yes. Does that help, Chelsea?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, guys, who else has somebody? Otherwise, we can kind of wrap up and close. We're almost at an hour, and I would employ you guys like over the next like couple hours through the day. Like, I don't have anything going on until tonight for dinner. We have the other 3:00 Zoom, but send some messages and or text me and Nikki and say, hey, okay, I'm getting ready to send my messages. There's this girl. I didn't speak up about it on the Zoom, or there's this guy that I want to talk to. How should I approach them? Okay, we can help you do that. And then send us screenshots. If they respond, send us a screenshot. If you're nervous and don't want to blow it, we can help you respond and with what to say, and you can copy paste it and send it to that person. Okay. So is there somebody else that unmuted just now?
I did. This is Linda.
Oh, hi, Linda.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Okay. So I have a good friend of mine. I used to be with It Works Global.
Okay.
And I have a good friend of mine that I approached her about joining my team there, and she's not interested. But since then, well, she just became a loyal customer in January. So I guess and she's a very successful salesperson, very outgoing, but she's like, I don't want anything to do with the business. But I want to invite her to look at Imris. But I feel kind of weird because she's a loyal customer from It Works.
So you tried to approach her to join your team and It Works, and she said no, and then she joined you as a loyal customer?
Yes.
Okay, so perfect, because you're not with It Works anymore, right? You're resigned from that?
Yes.
Okay, so perfect. Here's the thing. That was my story. I was in It Works for 4 years. So I don't know if you know that or not. Okay, so yeah. I think that that you should approach her and just say, hey, I know that I approached you about It Works and it wasn't the right fit for you, but I have my hands on something right now. It's a ground floor global company that I'm launching, and I'm looking for a very few specific people that would run with this. And literally, like, you're the very first person I thought of. Like, would you at least be willing to take a look at it? Okay. I think for her, you need to kind of like build her up a little bit, like give her that like compliment and stuff, because she needs to hear that like from you, and just address that, you know what, It Works wasn't the right fit for you. That's okay. It obviously wasn't for me either, but what I have my hands on right now is incredible, and I'd love for you to at least take a look. Like, your mind's gonna be blown, you know, have that posture with it.
Okay.
Can I just add to that too?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I don't have a history with It Works at all. I mean, I know it because of Ashley, and that's all. But I actually have somebody that just signed on as a founding partner, who literally, her exact words to me were, I use It Works products. I liked them. I had no interest in selling it. I had probably 30 people ask me if I would join. I had no interest in it whatsoever. and she joined as a founding partner with this. It's different. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just about, I mean, yes, we are health and wellness, and so it feels similar, but don't automatically assume somebody isn't interested because it's still a health and wellness company, because I think a lot of it is more about the integrity of the company and the heart of the company and where we come from, what we stand for. So don't be afraid just because she said no to another company, because this is entirely different. And I said no to It Works too. So
Yep. True that, you guys. My whole team, we have like 475 people on our team, and there's like 3 people that came over from It Works. Tons of people are going, yep, I'm doing this with you because I've always wanted to work with you. I just wasn't interested in It Works. So it might not be the right company, and it might not just be It Works, right? Rodan and Fields, there's so many different companies out there that they might have done something and it wasn't the right fit for them. Don't feel like you can't ask them about this, because this is a totally different animal. And it's ground floor, you guys. Like, we have that leverage. Like, everybody play on that. Be like, haven't you ever wanted to be a part of something from the beginning? Like, have you ever thought to yourself, like, man, that was a good idea. I wish I would have thought of that. Use that, because it's a real thing. People think that, right? Like, we have that opportunity right now. So, okay, the last thing that I want to talk about real quick, you guys, before we end, is just how to seal the deal at the event. It's one thing to bring your prospects there, you guys. It's a whole nother thing to actually get them, in the computer right then and there. You have to make that ask. So at the event on Tuesday night, as soon as it's done, you guys, your job then at that point is to go up to your guests and say, what'd you think? Are you ready to get started? Okay? That has to happen right then and there. Bring me or bring Nikki or bring Aspen over to meet and introduce your guests to us. We can help answer questions. We can help overcome their objections. But your job at that event is to get them in the system right then and there. Why? Because they're excited. Okay? So obviously we all have our phones with us. I'll have my computer, but we can get them into the system right then and there. And if you don't know already, we have our merchant account with 4 credit cards now for processing. So when they go to the website, they can actually enter in their credit card information right then and there. Aspen is still offering personal checks through soft launch. If people want to mail in a personal check, they'll still get a free product. We do have the ability to take credit cards. So remember at the event to make the ask, get them in the system. That should be happening every time that you're meeting with somebody. Some people need to think about it. That's okay, but make the ask. When we were in Nebraska, you guys, those 2 events that we did, oh my gosh, like every single person was signing up right then and there. Eileen had like checks coming out of her like arms. We had to go get a cup so she could put all the money, because people were like sitting there counting out their like last dollars to like pay the $4.99. There was this one girl that had this bag of like change that was like counting out quarters for Steph for like the last $5 of the $4.99. It was awesome, you guys. People, when they get in front of this, they want to feel a part of something. And so don't do them the disservice by being nervous to make the ask. And if you're nervous, bring Nikki and I with you. I am not nervous to say, what do you think? Like, are you ready to do this with us? And we want to meet your people, you guys. Like, if you're bringing brand ambassadors that we haven't met, introduce them to us, introduce them to Aspen. Let's take pictures. So it's so important.
I was going to say, Ash, even at we did a really small event at my house on Tuesday night. We do a weekly meeting, and we had a few guests that were there, and we literally had 3 people, you guys, that signed up while they were in my living room. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, how life-changing. And they all literally just busted out their phones.
Yep.
And I was like, thank God for the mobile site being up.
Yep.
It was just, I'm like, this is awesome. And it's so, people thrive on it because they're like, well, gosh, she's doing it and she's doing it. And, it just makes it, it kind of fuels that fire, and it's really cool. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. It's called groupthink. When you have a group of people around, it's why events are so powerful, you guys, because you've got a group of people that are full of energy, and it makes everybody else like be excited and want to do it too. One-on-ones are great, but when you can get them in a group, then it's groupthink. They're all thinking together and doing something collectively together. So, okay, guys, well, it is right about 10 o'clock, so I'm going to hop off of here. If you guys have other questions, you can text us screenshots so we can help you throughout the day. But let's pack the house. We have our CEO coming. This is so exciting. All right, guys, see you later. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.